I have one question for you. Is God telling you to go back? Has He told you to go back? And when I say go back, that could be anywhere. It could be a job. It could be a place. Um, I don't know. I don't want to necessarily say a person. It could be, but that's between you and the Lord. You really have to seek Him for all things. And the reason why I ask you this question is because of this. When I gave my life to Christ, surrendered my life to Him in 2019, or answered that call, I had no idea. And a few years later, in 2022, He would have me leave, that He would have me pack up everything or give away what I had, give away everything, and just whatever could fit in my car, that He would have me leave. He would have me leave my job that I'd been at for over 20 years. I started in 2002, and December 2022 is when I left my job. Let go of my real estate career. I just passed my exam for my broker's license. All of the things the Lord was just telling me to let it go. So I had been called, but not only called, but also chosen. And all are called and few are chosen. And there are a lot of you that have been chosen that are sitting in places that you should not be in any longer. And I say that because, as I said before, I had no idea that the Lord would tell me to leave. He had me to leave the familiar, and He moved me to Texas. I was living there in Frisco, Texas, or Dallas, with my aunt for 2 years. And then the Lord said, your assignment here is done. He said, go back. It's time to leave. Go back. He kept saying, go back, go home. And even though I'm from down south, I consider Virginia my home because I've been here for 29 and a half years. I have 2 adult children, that are here. My daughter's in New York, but some of you know the story, some don't. So I say all that to say, when He told me to leave and to come back, I was really surprised by that. My whole thing was, Lord, why are you leading me back to Virginia? I thought Texas was my promised land, but it turns out, no, Virginia is my promised land. Sometimes God will lead you away from the familiar. He will remove you from your surroundings and have you go to a place that you do not know, just like He did Abraham, or Abram at that time. He will have you leave, and He has to remove you from the familiar so that you will see yourself differently. So when He said, go back, I was like, oh, wow. And let me tell you something. The way that He led me to Texas was completely different. He led me to Texas in my car was packed to the rim with whatever could fit, my clothes and just whatever else I could fit in my car. And when He led me back from Texas to Virginia, He led me back on a Greyhound bus. He had me to leave my car, my clothes, other than what I had on my back, and maybe another pair of clothing, another outfit, so to speak. So the way He led me to Texas was completely different in the way that He led me back here to Virginia. And I was completely shocked, once again, that He was even leading me to come back. But He had to remove me from the familiar so that when I came back, I would see myself differently and I would make better choices in my life. And that is going on with a lot of you guys. God has led you somewhere, and now He's telling you to go back. But instead of you going back, recognizing that your season has changed, that you're no longer in the wilderness, you're not seeing that. And the thing is, you've become more loyal to the place that you are. Sometimes we begin to idolize that place, thinking, oh, it's better than where we were, and you're struggling. Whereas God has said, that is not your promised land. It is time for you to go back. And I've heard people say, well, you know what? I can't go back to what I'm used to, or go back home, because if I go back home, it's going to be, there are too many things distracting me. Here's the thing. When God led you out, He led you out for a reason. And just like He told me, your assignment here is done when I was in Texas, and He sent me back here to Virginia. When I got back to Virginia, Virginia was the same. I wasn't. And that's the same thing with a lot of you guys. you're no longer the same. So your decisions are going to be different. Your outcome is going to be different. However, you're not recognizing that God is telling you to go back because you're being more loyal to the place, and you have not recognized that your season has changed, and you're sitting and you're waiting on breakthrough, but you're not being obedient. Your provision is in the place of your obedience. And let's think about this right here. When we read the book of Ruth, a lot of times we will think about Ruth and Boaz and how they met and how she was in position. But guess what? Yes, she was in position. Ruth was. But had not Naomi not recognized her season had changed, then she wouldn't have ever have gone back. And Ruth wouldn't have ended up going back with her. So if you think about that, if you go back and read this whole chapter, and it tells us here, when Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, see, she knew her season had changed. She knew it was time to go. She and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. They went back. They returned back. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Now, Ruth knew, she had that discernment, and she knew, I need to go on with you. I'm going to serve your people and your God. Okay. The other one, I think her name was Orpah, she knew, no, I'm going to go back home. So you see, you have to discern what the Lord is telling you to do in this season. If he's telling you to go on, to move somewhere else that he's telling you to go, or to go back home. But if you think about it, both ladies went back home. Naomi went back after her husband and her 2 sons died, and Orpah went back home. Ruth followed her. So you have to discern and know when your season has changed and when it is time to transition. And then also know that when you go back, then you're going to be different. But a lot of times we don't recognize, and we're thinking, no, I can't go back there. I'm too embarrassed to go back. You got to let go of that pride, just like Naomi did. She left her place where she was. Let me see. I can't remember that. So, he was from Bethlehem, okay, in Judah. They were in Moab. So the man's name was Elimelech. I'm trying not to go too fast, y'all, because I'm on my lunch break. But his wife's name was Naomi. We all know that. So when the Lord led them out, because there was a famine in the land, they went, they left there and went elsewhere. But then she recognized, after her husband had passed and her 2 sons, that I need to go. And then here's another thing with me. He led her out. When she left, she was full with her husband and her 2 sons. But when she came back, she was completely empty. And that's another thing. When the Lord led me out, even though he led me out, I was full. When I left Virginia to go to Texas with the things that I had, in my mind, I was going for one reason, not recognizing I was going there. I was walking out my deliverance. But when I came back to Virginia, I came back empty. I was full of myself when I left. When I left Virginia, I was full of myself, thinking that I was going there for marriage and all of the things, seeking the promises. But when I came back, when he led me back, I came back empty. I had emptied myself at this time. Walking out my deliverance, at this point, I was truly a living sacrifice for the Lord. So I came back empty and full of Christ. So when I left seeking the promises of God, going to Texas, I came back seeking the Lord. It was all about him and being obedient to him. Okay. And that's where a lot of you are going wrong. You leave seeking the promises and looking for one thing, going after the things that the Lord can provide for you. But then the Lord is like, no, he led you there to that place to walk out your deliverance so you could see yourself different, so you could empty yourself. You're no longer full of yourself like I was, even down to me cutting my hair. God was showing me what was inside of me at that time when he said, cut your hair. He had to show me what was on the inside. Are you really submitted to me? Are you really going to be obedient to me? He already knew, but he had to show me. that I was still full of myself. So then it's like after that happened in July and he called me off the job with the city of Plano, and then he started saying, go back. It's like that was the last little thing that he just had to break that pride off of me and get me to a point of no longer relying on myself, but relying fully on him. And that's what he's doing with a lot of you, but you're not recognizing it. God has told you to go back. And then when he led me back here with nothing, I was embarrassed. Yes, I was embarrassed, but guess what? It was more so about my obedience and following the Lord and my love for him than it was, my pride and being embarrassed, because I trusted the Lord and I trust him. I do trust him. I trusted him to follow him, to leave my car with just 6 or 7 payments left, to leave my clothes and everything else to start all over again. Back in Virginia, coming back to this place that I just left, full of myself, coming back completely empty, full of Christ. I had to empty out myself again, which is what a lot of you need to do. Let go of that pride. The Lord is telling you to go back. Now it's time for you to go back to that place. Go to your promised land, because that's where your provision is. Don't sit in something and suffer needlessly when the Lord has already told you to go. All right. So go back and read the book of Ruth. There's a lot in there. There's a lot of things to unpack. It's not just about Ruth finding her husband, her Boaz. And then for some of you, if we keep on reading, if you think about it, it will come to that at some point. If that's your promised land, if that's part of what God has said to you, it will come about when it's supposed to. But for right now, let go of the pride. Go back. Don't be embarrassed. I got gum in my mouth, y'all. So go back to where the Lord has told you to go back to. The Lord led me back here to Virginia. There's a process. Breakthrough requires obedience. It's not always just this big, we're looking for this big thing to happen. But breakthrough, for some of us, I know for me, it has required small steps of obedience that lead up to that thing. So he led me back here to Virginia. Not only did he lead me back to Virginia with nothing, but he also led me back to my church, back to the same job that he took me off of in 2022. When I found out this position had been posted, it was the same position that I left in December of 2022. The young lady that was filling in my spot basically is exactly what it was. The young lady that was filling in my spot, she left. It's like God was saving my place. And guess what, y'all? He led me back in such a way, and the way he walked me down through this thing, it's a testimony in itself. You got to go look at my on my YouTube page under Surrender for Sanity and look at the last video that I just posted. But I thought after I was gone for 1 year that I would lose my pay, I would lose my tenure, but I didn't. I did not. It's 3 years. December 9th will be 3 years. The Lord led me right back to this job. I got hired October 9th and started on November the 10th. Y'all, you got to follow the Lord. Be obedient to him. It's obedience over sacrifice. So follow him. Do it. Trust him. Put your hope, faith, and trust in him and do whatever it is he tells you to do. Okay? So I'm going to go, y'all. But I just wanted to tell you that today. If he's telling you to go back, go back. Seek him. Don't take my word for it. I'm just here giving you my testimony. Seek him and do what he's telling you to do. Discern if your season has changed. If it is time for you to transition, don't be embarrassed. Don't think about what people have to say. Trust God and do whatever it is he's telling you to do. And I will see you guys next time.